Good evening, everyone. I'm calling the Monday, October 27th, 2025 Education Operations Committee meeting to order. Approval of the minutes. I'm seeking a motion to approve the minutes of September 22nd, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Public and student comment with Dana. I'm just going to ask you to come up, and I don't need to go any further than that. I'll give the mic to you. Welcome to the forefront.
Hi, everybody. I don't know if you can hear me.
Good evening.
You can hear me, but
Yes.
I'm Dana Parlier, WEA president. Just a couple of things, updates. Almost through first quarter. Always wild and woolly to get us into the routine, but we seem to be cooking along at a good pace. We have the turkey drive that's happening, so if you are so inclined, I think Rob's got a goal of like $12,000 for turkeys and hams, and an email that I got today indicated that our pantries are in sore shape, so if we can do what we can to support that, that would be great. And the third thing was we will be recertifying here in the month of November to be represented by WEA, so that will be happening soon. That's it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the update. Fourth agenda item, John Tomsky will be presenting a short presentation on the proposed addendum to the Athletics and Activities Code to reflect change in grading practices, proposed student fees, and course approvals. So, John, you're up.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So we have a few items from the secondary world coming up tonight, so I just wanted to preface some of these. Some of these are more time sensitive than others, so this is historically the meeting where we discuss things like fee increases and new course requests. So we will be asking for a few motions tonight, so some time sensitive ones. So our course fees are a time sensitive item, our course requests are a time sensitive item. Our activities code is as well. There is a slide on here about athletics fees of those items. I just want the board to know that that is not as time sensitive. So I know we have an obligation to try to get to this evening, so in which case if we want to circle back to it at a later time, we certainly can. First, we are seeking to amend our activities code. So there's been a change in grading practice at the secondary level where we are no longer utilizing quarterly grade books for secondary. We've switched to a semester-long grade book, which really all that means is historically we, as far as grading periods are concerned, we've had quarter one grades, quarter two grades, and then semester one final grades, right? Semester one grades being those grades that are used to determine credit and that get published on the transcript. In reality, those quarter two grades are strictly to determine eligibility, academic eligibility. So due to the shift in the grade book, the changes we are seeking are simply to eliminate quarter two and quarter four grades from the verbiage in regards to academic eligibility and replacing it with semester one and semester two grades instead.
So you would like that motion right now?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm going to read it off. I'm seeking a motion to recommend to the full board to approve the addendum to the 2025-2026 Wausau School District 6 through 12 Athletics and Activities Code effective immediately.
So moved. Second.
Any questions from the board? Any follow-up? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item are course fees. So we have a series of fee reductions that we are seeking at the high school level and one fee increase. So we're reducing fees, Spanish 3 and 4 at Wausau East, Spanish IB 1 at Wausau East, and we are reducing fees in midterm at both East and West. That is a NTC dual transcripted course. NTC has loosened up its practice as far as textbook is concerned. So that $80 fee, the majority of it was the textbook required for the course. So we were able to move away from that and reduce it just to the $5 laboratory fee that is universal across all science courses. We are seeking one fee increase for courses. This is our culinary pathway, foods 1, 2, 3, and food science at both Wausau East and Wausau West. We're seeking an increase of $5 to help offset the cost of groceries needed to run the labs for the class.
Okay, I'm seeking a motion to recommend to the full board the approval of all fee increases and reductions as discussed for the 2026-2027 school year.
Second.
Any follow-up questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. We would also like to seek an increase to our athletic user fee from $50 to $100, with the caveat that 3 sport athletes would pay for 2 out of their 3 sports. Like everything else, costs associated with officials, transportation, entry fees, various consumables that we use the athletics budget to purchase have all increased over time, and the last time that this fee was increased was in 2001. So we felt that now may be a time to seek an increase to help offset some of those costs, as that's something that the schools have been struggling with. Understanding that we're doubling the fee, we're seeking to double the fee, that this could be a hardship for families, and we just want to acknowledge that I can speak to my time at Wausau West overseeing things like course fees, that if a family ever has a barrier to access a course, a sport, an activity, because of financial reasons, we always work with them to find a solution. And to my knowledge, we have never denied a student access to any of those things based on financial need. So we just ask that if a family is struggling with that they approach us, and we can certainly work something out. With that being said, I have our ADs here if there are any questions.
Just one question about your last comment there. So if a family does find a barrier based on cost, is there a known established process through which they can go to achieve some anonymity? You know, it's not first team meeting, hey, if you can't afford it, raise your hand type thing?
Absolutely. So we would encourage a one-on-one meeting. So for myself, when I would discuss course fees with families, I would have a meeting with them in my office.
Okay.
We had a process at scheduled pickup for them to request that if they needed to, and then we would have a separate meeting if it came up.
And the kids are clear that that's what they should do, and they know where to go, who to talk to, and all that stuff, so they don't have to.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And as far as official process, we also, if a student qualifies for free and reduced lunch, their fees are reduced 50% for athletics.
Okay.
So they would just have a meeting with one of the ADs and present evidence of that or documentation of that. That information is sealed quite tightly in the district. So if they could provide us documentation, we could reduce those fees 50%.
Okay. Thank you.
So one question, one comment. Comment first, which is in case any families are listening or are interested and are seeking alternative ways to support themselves. One is through the Waldron Fund, which is the Wausau School Foundation, and that's a way that they don't even necessarily have to speak to anybody at the school directly. They can access the Waldron Fund with an application, which again doesn't go through any of their teammates, and that is specifically for things like this where students have trouble accessing, and there's quite a bit of money available in that, and that's exactly what it's for. And then my question, you mentioned costs associated for us have gone up considerably, obviously, since 2001. Can you give us any more detail, not so much for us, but for anybody listening to understand really, we've kind of carried these cost increases for 24 years now?
Yes, and that is precisely why I have BJ and Darcy up here to talk more specifics about athletics budget and what that looks like at the high school. So I will defer to them on that question.
I'll just speak to transportation, and I just went through the last 3 years here. So transportation costs in 2022-23 were roughly $61,000. This is at Wausau West only. Transportation costs for 23-24 jumped to $78,000, and in 24-25 are around that same number of $74,000. So just with transportation costs alone, and then you look at the officials side of it as well, which their fees have increased as well. 22, 23, 23, 24, they're around $48,000 to $49,000, and in 24, 25 that jumped to $66,000 here. Now that depends on home games and each sport, and every year there's some variables there. But you can see just over that 3-year window that I went, had some pretty significant cost increases of things that are just there to run the program.
Wausau East is very similar. In the last 2 years have been pretty consistent, around 68,000. And the year before was a little bit less than that. But outside of just transportation and officials, entry fees have went up significantly too for different things. And then there's consumables that honestly we don't have a ton of money to fund anyway. But things like, just a couple of examples would be like game balls or Neptune music or Huddle, so our community can view live stream and things like that are just all paying for CPR certifications, which are required. All of that comes out of our budget as well.
If you had to wager a guess, looking between 2001 and 2025, what our cost increase has been by percentage-ish?
That's a good question. I don't think there's anybody right now that's even been around that long, Sarah.
Well, I think you can,
Sarah, I can speak to just the overall athletic expenses. So in Wausau, for Wausau West in 22-23 was 141,000. 23-24 was 160,000, and 24-25 is 171. So
In less than 5 years, you're looking at a $50,000 increase.
and that's overall.
50%.
That's overall budget. That's not specific to just officials or transportation. That's just the overall expenses to run the program.
So I think it's probably fair to say that our expenses in 25 years have easily doubled.
I think also, at the same time, which the numbers we know from what we'll be doing in our next meeting, our funding has gone down. So at the same time as our costs have gone up, if you just look at the last 13 years, we're $13 million down in 1 year and 50-something million dollars down over 13 years. So as we get less funding from the general pool of taxpayers, we have to put more burden onto the actual users, the local families who are using it. That's just how the finances are going to work. I think we got a little bit of pushback on just some emails on the increase. One issue was I think there was some misunderstanding that we were finalizing it tonight. So our normal process is we look at the fees tonight in the Ed Ops meeting. If we approve, we move forward to the next meeting, which would be next month, that we would actually finalize it. But the other thing is just the amount of the jump, and I think that's just because we haven't done it for so long. We could have done $5 a year for the last 20 years, and we'd be at $150 right now, and probably people wouldn't be batting an eye at it, but because it's a $50 jump. So I think we need to do it, and I think we need to look at it again sooner than 24 years from now. I will probably not be on the board still then, never know, but Pat can take a look at it before then. Yeah.
The inflation is 84% since 2001, so almost double.
I'm going to just reiterate what Lance stated here. I think it's because of the fact that the school boards from 2001 to now have tried to do as much as possible to not raise for co-curriculars. And I'm going to say co-curriculars because I'm also including the activities, the clubs, along with sports, and I think it's very important to identify that. And I would venture to say, and I know all the budgets that I've dealt with in the past 40-some years, athletics and co-curriculars, I'm talking about fine arts as well, usually is about 2.5 to 3% of the total school budget, district budget, and people always think that that's the first thing that should go when you're talking about very little money going towards the budget for athletics and the fine arts. I think people need to think twice about that. I know as being in your positions, I sat and said the same thing. So it does come back to the fact that students, families who are going to be out for the fine arts and co-curriculars need to take some sort of responsibility for that by paying for it as well. Now, you're paying for it within the budget, but it's usually about 2.5 to 3%, like I said. So it all balances out, and we're asking the people that are going to be going out for athletics to just help a little bit more. As an official, I can tell you, the amount of money going up paying officials in basketball, football, soccer, hockey have gone up considerably, and if we haven't taken care of the budget, we're always going to be in the hole from your point of view. So I just wanted to piggyback off of yours, Lance, because I think that's very important to understand. So moving forward, other questions? Any follow-up? And this is not going to be finalized until our next meeting. So this is an open concept for people to come and talk to us about this as well, and to you. I'm going to direct them to the administration. You should be giving the information about that, not coming to the board necessarily. All right.
Just to clarify one thing, the other expenses and changes with this school year, this is actually for next school year, correct?
Correct, actually, this is for, this
Very clear.
this
Good
is for
point.
next school year, and the budget impact won't be felt until the following school year.
Now, I think you have a different motion. Here we
Yes,
go.
I did put a different motion in there.
Thank you.
Twice the amount, yeah.
I'm going to read the top motion there. We are seeking a motion to approve.
That one we did already.
Did we
Second
do that
one.
one already? Okay, we'll go down to the second one. We are seeking a motion to approve an increase in the high school athletics fee from $50 to $100 for the 2026-2027 school year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Yeah, one follow-up point on that. Just in looking at this issue, I was looking at some other districts, and I did see some districts that right on their website, on their athletic department website, they have a very easy-to-find form that a parent or guardian could fill out for a fee application waiver. I just want to make sure we have as many available options as possible so that we don't ever have a barrier to someone from income to not going out for an extracurricular activity. They probably need it more than anyone else, and so I don't want the prospect of having to come in and meet in person to be a barrier. So that goes beyond our policy setting role, but I just saw some good examples online. So
It's a great idea.
Good point. All right.
All right, thank you.
John, I think you're still up.
I'm still up. We have technically three new courses. This first one shouldn't be anything too new to the district. So the art department at Wausau West would like to take our art foundations course, which is historically a year-long course, and divide it into two separate semester-long courses. So the idea being it offers students interested in art maybe a little more flexibility in their schedule, right? When an eighth grader is registering for classes as a freshman, for some, committing to a year of art is a lot, and this would offer them some more flexibility to still explore the pathway, but also maybe take some other courses. So we are seeking approval to start Art Foundations 1 and 2. Art Foundations 1 would run semester 1 and semester 2 at Wausau West and would be a prerequisite to any of the upper level art classes that they offer. And Art Foundations 2 would be offered second semester, and that would be that option available for those students who are committed to art, who are very interested in art, and would like to take a full year of art. So really, similar curriculum, similar scopes and sequences, just divvying it up between two separate courses, the first one being truly more foundational, and Art Foundations 2 being more, a little more rigor and a little more depth into what was covered in Art Foundations 1. So that is Art Foundations 1 and 2. We have a third course, Art Foundations 1 and 2, I think of it as its own course. So our third course is ServSafe, and this is offered through our Family and Consumer Sciences Department. So ServSafe is a dual credit transcripted course through NTC. It is actually in I might lean over to John Winter behind me here, the highly sought after certification program? Correct. CTE for our CTE incentive grant. So we are seeking approval to begin offering this class at Wausau West, with the caveat that any of these courses that are approved tonight are on the district catalog in the event that Wausau East would choose to adopt them as well. So we are seeking a motion to approve Art Foundations 1, 2, and ServSafe to our district high school course catalog for next year.
You
John,
were
can I
wanting
ask
a
a-
motion, so I'm going to seek the motion from the board. Thank you for putting that forward. I'm seeking a motion to recommend to the full board the approval of the Art Foundations 1, Art Foundations 2, and Serve Safe to the district high school courses catalog for the 2026-2027 school year.
Second.
Any follow-up questions before I move on?
Quick one, just as somebody who's gone through Serve Safe to work in restaurants, do we work with the area, so if students get a job in a restaurant, I know when I did it, your Serve Safe certificate was often linked directly to the restaurant that you went to. Are there communications there to help students if they do seek jobs in the restaurant industry to make sure the certification counts?
It's a great question, and
John's coming
my
by.
John.
backup is arriving.
Hi.
So
Your left. There he is.
I'll jump in. Hi. So, yes, our students are not only working through youth apprenticeship with their certifications, but also just on their own as well. So that's why one of the reasons why we wanted to bring it on was because we do have a lot of our students out in the community working. And so this was just a perfect fit to be able to get kids their certifications. And whether they're connected with the youth apprenticeship or not, they certainly have that option. But a lot of them may not be connected with our work-based learning program, and they just are looking to get that certification on their own, so.
One other question. Have you guys reviewed other courses and other disciplines to see if there are more examples of these year-long requirements that could be broken out into two to give kids that option? I'm thinking, a number of years ago, was it Project Lead the Way?
Yep.
Is that a year-long entry one? And
Yep, and so we've started breaking those up into like Fab Lab 1 and Fab Lab 2 are both semester long. So we've done more of that actually in the tech ed area for that very same reason, is to give kids more of maybe like a softer introduction to it versus
Right.
committed to a year long. I'm not
Yep.
sure if I want to be an engineer. Can I just try a semester long class? So in tech ed, I know we've done that. I'm not sure in other areas so much, but
I mean, is it applicable in other disciplines?
I would say the only other elective area that offers a year-long off the top of my head would be foreign language. And that one's maybe a little more difficult because
Yeah.
you have so much content and
Okay.
scope and sequence you need to get to in a year. But other than that, I think that's probably the last one we have, or last few.
Is East in the same boat? I know there's nobody from here right now, but I mean, have we reviewed? I don't know if their curriculum differs that drastically anymore.
So there's some, if it's in reference to Serve Safe, there's Serve Safe, so Serve Safe is ingrained in their food, in how
Well,
they teach food.
it's not even serve safe. I'm just talking courses across the board. I know they're big into mechanics. Like, is there a first semester auto and a second semester auto, or do they have to take everything,
no.
or computer science or something along those lines?
Our advanced automotive class is a year long.
But that's after they achieve and,
Right, that's after the intro classes.
Okay.
So there we're pretty consistent. Business marketing, we don't, everything's a semester long. Agriculture, everything's a semester long. So.
Okay.
I know in the CTE areas, we're trying to focus on that, keeping things at a semester long.
I just think the change to art seems like such an obviously good change, that if there are other obviously good changes like that we can do, we should do them now and not discover them years from now, because it's an obvious improvement. I can't see what a downside would be to this. It's all upside.
John, I have a question about, youth apprenticeship has changed a little bit last several years. It used to be, in order to be affiliated with youth apprenticeship, you were out in the community, and the community person played a big role in that. Are they still doing that? Are they?
Very much so. Every student's matched with a mentor, and there's a training agreement that the student, employer, our instructors sit down and go through. Students can enroll in youth apprenticeship at any point during the school year as well. So if they find a good employer with a great experience and they would like to earn school credit, you can still get into youth apprenticeship even after the school year starts if your schedule allows and you work with your counselor. But yes, they are matched up with mentors on the job. Youth apprenticeship is a fantastic program. One thing about that program is it requires students to work 450 hours in the year, but can also be earned during the summertime as well. And even for those seniors that may not quite hit 450 at graduation, the summer after graduation can also be included in that. So there's lots of great options within the YA program, but
They also are getting paid, correct?
they're getting paid as well as earning 1 credit of elective credit.
Along with the certification that comes after the
Correct.
450.
Yep. They'll
So,
walk away with a Department of Workforce Development Youth Apprenticeship certification.
you know, a lot of people don't realize that that is being offered within our district and has been offered for what, 10 years?
Many, more than that, for a long,
Okay.
long time. Youth apprenticeship has been around for quite a while.
Sounds good. Any other follow-up questions? If not, I'm going to put the motion out. I'm seeking a motion. I've already done that. The questions. The question is, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
As soon as I started reading that, I realized, I just read that. Agenda item 7, Assistant Superintendent Mr. Vagut is presenting a summary report presenting all legal counsel expenses incurred during the first quarter of 2025-2026. The report is broken down by law firm and by the type of legal advice sought. This is a written report that requires no action. So, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I don't have too much to add. This is first quarter of the year only, and that's the fiscal year. This is against a budget of about $90,000. So if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, this is it.
Questions from the board? All right, well, thank
Okay.
you very much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Josh. I'm seeking a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I am calling a special meeting to order. Agenda item number 2, approved consent agenda. Appointments, additional staff, replacement staff, contract increases, separations, resignations, contract decreases, terminations, leaves of absence, retirements. I'm seeking a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item 3, board book attachments include the expenditure budget presented in function format and the revenue budget presented in source format as required per Wisconsin state statutes. A presentation is also included to show many of the highlights of the final budget and how it has changed since the annual meeting. I am seeking a motion to approve final 2025-26 budgets as presented below. Fund 10, expense $117,577,935. $107,505,312 plus transfers to funds 27 and 28. Revenue, $117,577,935. Fund 27, $20,234,845. $10,193,544 plus transfer from Fund 10. Other fund, 20, $3,125,000. Fund 30, expense $20,154,168. Revenue, $20,038,121. Fund 40, expense $29,873,069. Revenue, $1,510,000. Fund 50, expense $5,374,233. Revenue, $5,111,000. Fund 80, $1,575,653. Levy, fees, and carryover.
So moved with clarification that it's Fund 38 rather than 28.
so identified.
Second.
Questions? Not? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Agenda item 4. Administration recommends a final tax levy of $44,385,271. Mr. Fagut will share a presentation on the 2025-26 district levy. To you, Mr. Fagut.
Thank you so much, and thank you for reading those numbers. So this is the final meeting of our budget cycle. This calendar says that we start in May. We actually start bringing you budget stuff in January, so we will get a brief break here. So this is just really, as Mr. Boucher mentioned, to cover changes that happened since the annual meeting. A couple things did happen. We received slightly more aid than we were expecting. So it doesn't change the overall revenue limit too much, but we do have more aid, and a corresponding adjustment within the overall levy. So I'll walk through that. Now, we looked at this at the last meeting. These are the changes from last year's levy to this year's levy in terms of mill rate. Went from $7.18 per $1,000 of equalized value to $6.58. In terms of changes we are looking at for since the annual meeting to now, a little bit of increase in revenue limit, but the biggest change was the increase to total aid, and then the corresponding what that allowed us to do was pursue additional debt defeasance from what we had presented at the annual meeting. So I'd also like to mention that most of the increase in revenue limit was for private school vouchers, the vast majority of it. So these are some detailed changes since the annual meeting. If there are any questions on these, I'm happy to answer them. The big one I'd like to draw your attention to is down near the bottom. There is other state aid for exempt personal property for about just over $1 million. So that is the increase in aid that we're looking at. We've talked about this a lot. Just like every district in the state, our revenues not keep pace with inflation. So significantly behind this year, and on the aggregate, over $50 million behind. Our revenue is done on a per pupil basis, and our pupil count is calibrated every year, and then we use a 3-year rolling average to determine what's called our membership, which determines our overall budget. I bring this up to show you that we are still in a space of decreasing enrollment. We have been for the last decade. That continues. So our 3-year rolling average did go down by 89 this year. It's just a graph highlighting the changes in open enrollment over time. Oh, sorry. So overall, the changes since the annual meeting to now, annual meeting's on the top, final levy, which is today, is below. State aid increased by just north of $1.2 million. Revenue limit increased by $211,000. And the result of that is a general fund levy decreasing by $1,011,368. What this allowed us to do was prepay $1,011,368 additional debt without increasing the levy at all since the annual meeting or changing the mill rate. So you'll see a flat levy, flat mill rate. The only adjustment is what makes that up. A little bit about private school vouchers. So this year, near the bottom of the screen, you can see that our overall levy for private school vouchers is just north of $4.2 million. This is money that we as a district are asked to tax for students that qualify for vouchers for private schools. But that money is then sent directly to the state. It's not money that we get, so we tax for it, but it's not really district money. This year, 63 cents of our mill rate is made up of this portion of the levy. And if you look at the graph here on the bottom, you can see that just under 10% of our total levy is for private school vouchers of our general fund levy. That's about 18%. So we've talked a lot over the last couple of years about debt defeasance. What this means essentially is prepaying our debt to save interest payments down the road. So since we've been doing this, we've retired almost $70 million of future debt and saved $19 million plus in terms of interest payments. Last year, we actually retired the last 2 years of payments that were due in 2041 and 2042. So there's a significant interest savings associated with that. And I should say that that is capital debt related to referendum for anyone who doesn't watch these every month. So we have 8 municipalities that make up our district, and this is how the various general fund, debt service fund, and community service fund levies break down against the certified value of those municipalities. So you can see that the city of Wausau obviously has the highest certified value. They take the highest percentage of those levies. And again, the board only sets the levy. We don't control anything beyond that. So this is where you can see the change from the annual meeting. I'll draw your attention to the debt service fund, Fund 39. Fund 38 is the same as the annual meeting. Fund 39 is just north of $1 million more than it was at the annual meeting. These are the expenses by fund. You can see that they're pretty constant. A little decrease in the general fund, some decreases in Fund 39 compared to last year. That's the debt service fund. And that's all I have, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have on the overall levy or the budget for the district.
Questions from the board?
Okay, thank you so much.
One question.
Yes, please.
Have we decided where we're going to put the money that we have brought in due to the sale of our schools, our elementary schools? Have we decided where we're going to put that? What fund?
Yep, so I would certainly ask for board guidance before any of that money was spent. As of right now, it's been put into Fund 46, which is set aside for long-term capital improvements since the sale was for buildings. If the board would have different guidance, we would certainly be open to that.
So that's an area where if we need all of a sudden to take care of some of our property, it will come from there.
Exactly.
46,
Yep.
Fund 46.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Just a point of order, the first motion is the one we did already.
Yep.
Correct?
Yes,
So we just have to do that bottom final tax levy one?
exactly.
Okay.
Hey, I've got one question on this, on the sale of so we've already incurred some of that, I mean, we received some of that revenue, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Just thinking out loud, do we know, like, if Rob Hughes has met his target for what he wanted to do with his food drive and his turkey and hams? If not, I'm only thinking that maybe it would be a nice gesture to make up the difference if he's short on whatever his goal was. I have no idea where he is, but I think it'd be a very nice gesture to contribute to the community and give it, talking a few $1,000s.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's a fantastic idea. We'll look into it and let the board know.
Great, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Good point, appreciate it. Mr. McKee, I am seeking a motion to adopt a final tax levy of $44,385,271, representing $23,255,150 for the general fund, $20,038,121 for the debt service funds, and $1,092,000 for the community service fund. Any follow-up question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Agenda item 5 in our special meeting. This is something due to the fact that we have a new board member, and Ms. Roosh, who had to leave our board, was in a very important position that we look at, and I'm going to put this out as I have written down and then ask the board to help. Resigned board member Jane Roosh was the 2026 WASB delegate who was going to attend the 2026 Delegate Assembly at the State Education Convention in Milwaukee, January 20th through the 23rd, 2026. With her resignation, a new delegate must be chosen and voted on by the board. I will look at, John, you are an alternate at this point in time. I'm just going to put it out there. Are you interested in taking that position over at the convention? That's January 20th through January 23rd.
I probably should be able to do that.
Okay. If you're willing to take that position, then I would ask for an alternate. And Sarah, are you interested in being an alternate? Okay. So we will put that as a motion. I'm seeking a motion to recommend John to the 2026 WAS delegate position, along with Sarah as the alternate to that position.
So moved.
Any follow-up questions? Not? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. I'm seeking a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.